All right, gang, welcome back. We are back at it again. And this lesson, I'm giving everybody a little bit of a break from the voice leading courses that we've been going through, and even on the live stream that I talked about. I had a lesson the other day with just an online lesson with a fella that I sometimes give lessons to. And he's really getting into the triad approach to playing. Adding triads into your lines and stuff like that. And which, if you've been paying attention, you know that I love that kind of sound, and I have, a little vocabulary of these devices built up over the years. So, but I noticed that I didn't have a ton of them written out. So what my student asked me to do is if I could write out maybe a few examples of little sequences and things I do with triads, just diatonic triads. So I thought, well, this would be something I could certainly share with my Patreon gang. And I'm just going to leave this kind of basic level tier 1 for everybody to enjoy and check out and hopefully get a little benefit from. So right now we're in the key of A minor. And let me turn that down just a smidge. And we're going to use the diatonic triads of A minor, which is also, you can think of as C, however you want to think of it. All these lines go down from the A minor on the top 3 strings. The next one down would be G. And the next one down would be F major. The next one is E minor, D minor, C, B diminished, and then back to A minor again. So there's a few reasons why I did it this way. First of all, a lot of times when we practice our triads, we work up the guitar. So good chance to just reverse that and go back down. And also, it's really easy way to illustrate some of these lines with some of these basic triad shapes. And of course, you can and should, I think, transfer these to other string groups. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm not going to go through every permutation of it, but I'll show you how you can do that. And let's just jump over to the first little sequence that I have here. And you can see the name of the thing is just some triad sequences, which I spelled wrong, obviously, because that's what I do. All right. And the first one is basically, this is an example, and not the only example, but an example of how you could take a 3-note triad and get it to kind of fit within a 16th note rhythm. So you got a 3-note triad. Now listen, sometimes it's fun to play 3 against 4. I've talked about that many times, right? But let's say if you repeat a note in the triad, you can, get a 4-note sequence as opposed to a 3-note sequence from your average triad, and it will square nicely within a 16th note rhythm. All right, here we go. So we've got, so what I'm doing is I'm repeating the middle note. In this case, it'll be the 3rd because we're starting from a root position triad. So that's the sequence. So whether you're doing it as 8th notes or 16th notes, it kind of squares within that kind of feel, right? So I got a little A minor backing track here. Okay, so just an example. Now, I normally wouldn't probably run it down the whole thing. I might just play a couple of them. Maybe I'll just play A minor and G and then traverse off into another line. Something like that, right? So it gives me a little bit of that sequency kind of sound, and this is a kind of an Eric Johnson sequence. If you studied it all with me, you've certainly heard me play this, or I've probably showed it to some of you cats before. But basically what it is again, it kind of turns it into a 4-note sequence by repeating a note. And in this case, we're going to start on the top note, which is the 5th in this case. And then we're going to go down to the lowest note, which is the root in this case. These are not inversions, so I don't, And then we're going to traverse back up the triad. Okay, I really love this sound. I use it quite a bit. And again, I probably wouldn't use this all the way down the scale. I might... Another thing too is when you're transitioning, a lot of times you put a slide in there. Right? So you put that slide in there. It gives a little bit of personality. Kind of sounds like it's that Eric Johnson-y kind of sound, and the slide really makes it sound like Eric Johnson. Now again, you know, I might not do the whole thing, but see, the premise here is by practicing it all the way down the guitar, I have some version of it everywhere on the guitar. So if I'm playing an A minor here, there I just did it, but I did it with an E minor because it's diatonically part of the sound, right? So by working this all the way down the guitar, it gives me every position I could be in. It gives me an option. Do you know what I mean? So like if I was playing in this pattern of A minor, right? I can, you know, here it is with C. And I just combine it with a scale. So I played that sequence and added some scale notes in there. And I got a nice line there that combines both the scale and the little triad arpeggio sequence. I could do it with pentatonics too. Or some kind of combination thereof. Here, if I'm in this position, I've got it with D. There it was right there. Back into A minor. So I can use any of these devices. You know, if I'm here, maybe I'm playing around this position here. Well, I've got the E minor right here. So let's say if I play, there it was right there. So that's why I like to work it down the guitar, but also see how it could fit into certain positions. So if I was playing maybe some, there it was right there with G, right? So I'm doing it down with, not with the intention of playing it all the way down all the time. Maybe I'll just play a couple of them. But then I also have that device in every position on the guitar. And now it's not always A minor, but it's diatonic to A and it will still work in that context, right? Okay, there's only 5 of these, so I want to keep this brief, but I want to, you know, also kind of give you a little bit of a understanding of where my mind is coming from with these. Okay, so this one here is based off of a blues lick that I've learned and heard many blues players play over the year, and a lot of times they play this in the blues box. It's that little lick right there. You hear blues guys put that in all the time. Maybe they do it like this. So what it is it's using the A minor triad and then, you know, preceding it with a few notes. So let's go in the tab here, what we got. We're going to start here. We're starting on the minor third. So it's 3, 4, 5, 3, 1. Now, another thing I like about this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 note sequence. So we can get some potentially over the bar kind of feel with it. There it is going down the guitar. Okay, again, I have it now available in all the positions. So if I'm playing here, there it was, right in there, snuck it right in there. If I'm playing here, right? I can sneak it in with the G here. I could sneak it in with an F, right? So there's all kinds of ways that I can use that, whether I use it as a sequence traversing down the scale, or whether I just find it in each harmonic shape, and then I can use that in the context of a lick within whatever position I'm playing in, right? Okay, this one here, this one is a 4/3 sequence, okay? So, you know, just simple little mathy things can get you some really cool stuff. So don't always think you have to, you know, just play the triad as a 3-note sequence or whatever. So what I'm doing here is I'm going, and then back to the root. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the next triad, I'm just coming down to 3 notes, right? So I got one more time. I use this sequence all the time. And I don't always do it all the way down the guitar, but I do use it. Like I might go, you know, make a little lick out of it. So on and so forth. So now if you do use it as a sequence, it's kind of a 7-note sequence, because you got, okay, so you know, if you were to string it together, but you know, my observation is to, you know, don't always just play things in just a stagnant rhythm. You know what I mean? Experiment with how you phrase these things. So, there we go. You know, so I can get more mileage out of it. Not only do I want to learn the lick, but the more I play with it and try to phrase with it, I could turn this one sequence rhythmically into a number of sequences, okay? All right, here's the last one. And this is an example, and these are all meant to just spark your imagination a little bit, right? So what this one is doing is it's starting on the top note. So we did this sequence. We did that, right? So on this sequence, what we're doing is we're going from the top note to the low note, and then a scale tone before the third. So just another sequence, and you know, you can invent these, of course. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, just a quick video just to kind of go over the tab here, but more importantly, go into my thought process of how I'm kind of coming up with these things. And you know, once you get past the basic knowledge of learning, you know, your chord scales and your diatonic triads, and of course your scales and pentatonics and stuff, now you have to go about the business of building a vocabulary, right? And a vocabulary that is hopefully in some ways unique to you, or to the way you like to approach music. And also, you know, that represents your taste and also your imagination, you know, because at the end of the day, if I'm playing in an A minor and you're playing an A minor, we're playing basically the same information. So it's how we play it. It's how we come up with our own stuff. So don't just look at these and learn them and go, okay, cool, I'm good. More importantly, learn them with the thing of like, well, what could I do? Maybe I could add to this or change it or come up with my own little thing. Here's an example. So I could take, let's say if I take this one. Okay, that's cool. What if I do this? So you see what I'm doing there, and I'm seeing the triad. I'm playing the 5th down to the root, and then I'm kind of circling this note with diatonic notes around it. So play the note below it, note above it, and there's my destination. That's a nice line, right? Oh, sorry. And now I don't have to sequence it. I just might use it once. It's kind of a nice line. just stuck it in with some of my blues licks there, right? And now I've got it in every position again. So if I'm playing in this position here, that's pattern 1. I go, oh, I got the G right here. That works. What if I'm playing in this position? Well, I've got the E. I've also got the F. Sorry. Right? So the moral of the story is, you know, use this as a jumping off point for your own creativity, right? So, all right, I'm going to keep it short and, you know, just wanted to throw this out there. I thought since I had spent the time putting this together and I'm going to probably add to it as time goes on, so you might see a part 2 to this on some level, but I could go part 15 on this because this goes crazy, right? You could do all kinds of stuff. But, you know, I thought, well, since I've already kind of put in the energy to put this out there, even though I misspelled sequences, which is not uncommon for me. I'm not the best speller in the world. But, you know, I wanted to say, well, okay, well, as a gratitude to all you subscribers, you know, if I come up with something that I'm doing in a private lesson that I think is relevant, I'm going to share it with you guys. I'm out. Good to see you guys. We'll see you next time around.